And welcome to OOP244. My name is Fardad. That's my name. And this is my last name. Okay? So you don't need to call my last name. Please don't do that. Professor, I don't have a PhD, so I'm not a professor. I'm a professor, but not in that manner. I'm Fardad. Call me Fardad. That's the easiest thing to do. Okay? All right. Next thing. Now you can bring that up. That's a microphone. Okay? And whoever has it will answer next, which means, and then passes it to the next person, and the victim's going to be the next person, going like that. Sometimes when I want to have fun, I take it and just randomly give it to someone else. Okay? When I see you are distracted or you are doing something with your cell phone or looking at your screen and doing stuff with your mouse. Okay? One research study, not one research, many research studies show this. This is an extremely important thing for us to understand. Your computer, anybody knows about the specifics of the CPU of their computer? Anyone? So the computers you're using, you're just using it, you don't know what you're using? Anyone? Seriously? Okay, this is a full duplex communication class, okay, which means I ask question, you answer. Okay, you don't just listen. We don't do it that way, okay? So, how many cores the CPU of your computer has?
Maybe 64.
64 cores? No, so definitely you don't know what a core is. You can give it to the next person. You have 4 cores. Thank you. Okay, so my lady over there, you can give the microphone to the lady, and lady, you can choose to give it to the next person, whoever you wants to give it to. Okay, so you answered already. You can give it to someone else. There we go. Okay, we try to keep this up. Okay, it makes the class fun. Everybody's on their kind of toes type of thing. Okay, so your computer has 4 cores. That essentially means it has 4 CPUs in it. 4 cores, okay? You're going to learn more in OOP345 when you're getting through that. Which essentially means is that ideally, the computer runs 4 programs at the same time, okay, on your computer. We have 1 brain, no cores, 1 CPU. And that CPU, what it does, is called multitasking, okay? Multitasking and multi-threading are 2 different things. Multitasking is when you are having a food with different type of things in it. So you have a burger, you have a fries, you have a Coke, okay? And you have 1 bite of your burger, then you put 1 fries in your mouth, then you put the drink. You don't put all 3 at the same time in your mouth, right? 1 by 1. For a bystander, I'm just going to pass by and I see the food is half eaten. I go and come back and I see now it's 3/4 eaten. So to me, you are eating the whole thing at the same time, okay? But essentially what's happening is that you are doing it 1 by 1. That's multitasking, okay? It looks like you're doing 3 things at the same time, but you are not. At each moment, you have to focus on 1 thing. That's how our brain works. Our brain has another capacity, another training by evolution, which essentially we are analog beings, okay? We are analog beings. If I touch your face and you feel it, you will remember me better than I show you 3 numbers in front of you, okay? We are analog beings. We do things, okay? Study shows that the screen in front of you is just a distraction. You cannot take notes and listen to me at the same time. It doesn't work that way because you are not using muscle memory. You are using your brain to type. Therefore, your brain is occupied by typing while I'm talking. Therefore, my talking will be gone, okay? Although your ears are connected to your brain, but your brain, remember, we have 1 CPU, 1 processor. We don't have 5, okay? But if you take notes, that's a different story because it's analog and it's using your muscle memory. you can listen to me and write at the same time. So those people who take notes tend to remember things better, okay, on paper, and then go home, transfer those to their computer. No disrespect to people using their cell phone and stuff. I have seen people that actually even like unusual people with special capabilities. They can actually do that. Maybe you are all one of those. Fine. I do not mind you using your stuff to take notes, okay? But if I get one of you having a little smile when you are looking at your screen, everybody loses their electronics. Do you understand? And I'm not going to say who did that. As soon as I see somebody's looking at their cell phone and go, that means all notebooks and everything is gone. I don't have time to single out somebody and embarrass that person. This is not kindergarten. This is college. Okay? One person, all goes away. The next day, you come back, you gain it again. One person, all goes away. And then you can find out who was the person who left, and you can beat him outside. It doesn't matter. But what I'm saying is that be like that. So pay attention in class. All right. Now, the first class is always like this. Me preaching, you yawning, right? I'll try to change that. I have something in my mind. If we have time to do that, it would be nice. I have 43 students in this class, and I'm going to count and see how many people are here. For some reason, it's a trend that they think that the first session is not important, okay? But it turns out that it's the most important of all, okay? There are certain policies and rules and regulations that we follow in a class. It's not just because I want to hurt you guys. It's also because you need to learn to follow rules and regulations wherever you work. That's what it is. Today you are working for this company and you have these certain types of rules, and then you go to the next company and all those habits must go away. Other habits should be adopted. And that's why each prof has its own thing, its own policies, and they share their policies, and the students must follow their policies. Another study shows that any email or text sent more than 3 lines will not be read. Okay? How many of you guys can tell me what was the announcement that I gave you? The gentleman with the microphone.
I haven't checked the announcement yet.
You didn't check the announcement?
Yeah.
Okay, that's fine. All right. Nice try. All right. Well, even if you have read it, I'm sure that you cannot tell me what was in it. Okay? You can read. You can tell me what is it about, but the details you won't know. That's why this is what I'm going to do this semester. So throughout this week, I'm going to set out all the policies, and it's going to appear as a test on Blackboard. Okay? So the policies of the class and what you're going to do, how you're going to code, and how you're going to study, what we're going to do in class, it's going to be in there. And you're going to have a series of multiple choice questions about the policy. And in order for any material to become visible on Blackboard, you must get 100% in that policy test. Not 80%, not pass, 100%. It means you need to know what are the rules and regulations in class. One of them, I do not upper the mark. That's a sad thing. It means if you get 49.99, that's a fail. Okay? Why do I do this? It's not because I'm evil. 15, 20 years ago, I did that once. Somebody got 49.5. I said, that's a pass. Okay? It wasn't, at the time, it was actually 54.5 because 55 was a passing. Now it's lower to 50. Go figure. Anyways, so I did that. And then people who got 74.5, 78.9.5 came and said, that person got that thing. So I had to go through every single thing. And then all the other classes had to go through every single thing and give half a mark. And then where does it stop? If 49.5 is 50, then 49 is 49.5, right? And then 48.5 is, so I don't do that, okay? Any calculation that is done, you see the mark, that's what you get. That's the threshold. Now, if you look at your test and you see that I marked you incorrectly, and it happens a lot. I'm a human being, and when profs start marking, they get hypnotized, and I'm not joking. Like, we go from the first 5, they are marked properly. But after that, especially when some students write things that you cannot believe, then seriously, you get, what the hell is going on? Like, where am I? And then at that time, you make mistakes. So that's why this time I'm going to actually put this in a policy. I'll give you 1 week after your result, not the marks posted, when you have access to your test. 1 week after that, you have time to go through your test and see if I made a boo-boo. That's how you bring that 49 thingy up. If I made a boo-boo, you come and tell me. You book an appointment. I'll fix it for you, and then you'll be fine. Okay? All right. But you're going to have the right answer and everything. So these are the things. So I'm saying that I'm just going to mark fairly. And I'm a very easy marker. I'll go ask all the other students that had me. I don't believe that an artist can do the best he or she can do in 15 minutes. Programming is an art. If you want to do your best, I need to give you 5 days to do something. But the problem is that we don't have solitary confinement anywhere to put you 5 days in a room so you don't see anyone, because you're going to go to your friends and ChatGPT and Copilot and Gemini and keep going, right? So we can't do that. That's why we have to measure it that way. That's why when you make little mistakes here or there, I completely ignore it and you get your full mark for it, okay? So I don't mark you exact, all right? Just be advised. Now, all said and done, just want to let you know that all the things that I mentioned to you right now was to just ask you to please read what is posted. The questions in a test, read them. They're very important. And you will see that all in a policy. Also, at not the quizzes, but the tests, every test has a policy of its own that comes up a few days before the test, which means you're going to read it. And in that one, I'll tell you what the questions are. You are not allowed any type of reference sheet in my class, in my tests, nothing. It's you, your brain, and a blank piece of paper in case there's a walkthrough you want to go through. The good thing is that I'll tell you what the questions are beforehand, so you know what you're answering. You can go study for it. Okay? I'm not going to give you the exact words of the question, but I'm going to tell you you're going to have a question about such and such, and you're going to develop such and such. You're going to, for example, you are going to write a foolproof number entry from the user. Then one person will get an integer foolproof entry, the other ones get a double integer entry, the other ones get a... So the concept is the same, but different questions. So you know what the questions are, and then you come to the test. That's that. Okay, so that policy, you have to read it, and at the bottom, again, it has few questions that you have to answer and get 100% of it, and then your test becomes available. Okay? So your availability of the test depends on you understanding what the test is. And these are the things, again, at the beginning, I haven't even brought anything up, and I keep talking. Let me talk about this one too. Again, students don't read, okay? It is extremely important for you to read the questions before you answer them. Many of you look at the question, glance, and I know this, and you start answering. Your answer is perfectly correct, but it's not answering the question. And that happens in OOP244, not 345. That happens approximately 45% of the time. And those things don't have partial marks. So if you have a perfect solution for a question I did not ask, you get 0. And that's very unfair, but that's reality. Like if I give you, I want apples, and you give me a perfect orange, you didn't accomplish anything. Right? So please read the questions. Read, read, read. Extremely important. All right. So let's start about are we recording? Yes, we are recording. So OOP244. And let's start right over here. That's where everything begins. We are on indigenous land, and we always acknowledge it at the beginning of every single semester of every single class. So here we go.
Ani, Sego, Pegutit, Niwi, Kidme, Mampi, Eyang, Anishinaabe, Asian Kwazant, Mississaugas of the Credit First Nation, Mige, Windak, Pine, Gayat, Mampi, Ake.
Bojo Wache, Beshagamampi, Williams Treaty Gay.
All right. Let's begin. Study notes. Your study notes are exactly like you had in C language. So it's on OER. When you click over here, it takes you to the table of contents of what we have and what we are talking about. Okay? So everything you need to know, it's in here. The addendum is not like last semester. It's new. This semester, we are using something called SYL system. And the SYL system holds all the information you need to know about your subject. So there is no addendum that you to go to and see what are the policies of the subject. And these change, which means as I'm going through the semester, I may modify things, and I'll submit it, and the chair approves it, and you will see the addendum is changed. I will notify you when the addendum is changed, so you can actually go and check to see if what's happened. Okay? So this is not a 100% thing. 95% of it remains the same, but minor things may change. So if you can click on addendum, subject outline, and everything, it brings you right over here. So you're going to see what is course description, prerequisites, instructor information. It is what mode it's in, times and location, course learning outcomes, prescribed text, which is essentially I showed you. It's the one that I just clicked on. Yes. It is. I know that. I know that. So they are actually copying it. You're lucky that I'm the course lead. So they fix mine first. I approve it, then they copy it to everyone else. So for those people, I sent a copy of this as a PDF, just so your friends know. And I asked the profs to bring the PDF up and explain and let them know that it's going to come up. OK? But thank you for caring about your friends. People with computer, can somebody go in here and click on it and see if you can see it? Let me see. If it's not, then thank you. That's not the one. Go up, up, up. That's the one. Unauthorized. OK. I'll check it out and see what happens. Maybe, did I put the wrong link? No, this is, so, I'll double check. Owner's workflow, publish page. Yeah, last edited. By far, that's telling me on that time. So actually, you can see when it was changed up here. thank you very much. I'll double check and I'll let you know. Okay? That's interesting. Okay. Anyway, so these are the prescribed texts. Reference material. Again, when you click over here, it's going to take you to the same place, to the notes. Okay? Modes of evaluation, 10% workshops, 10% projects, quizzes, test 1, final test in total. 20% of the mark of the subject you are doing without me supervising. 80% is done on your computer at tests. Okay, which means you can choose to get the solution of the workshop of your friend or ChatGPT or something and submit it, and you're lucky you didn't get caught. But I guarantee you do that, you're going to fail in quizzes and in the test. If you want to be successful in a test, you must do the workshops yourself. Do it yourself. You're adults. We are done with treating you as children and try to change the workshop every semester, make sure that you don't copy. You can go get the solution from previous students that took the class last semester. I'm telling you right now. You get 20% in a test in these two things. But 80% is mine, okay? And we'll see, okay? It is obvious when somebody gives me a workshop and I look at your workshop and I see, wow, you did this beautiful logic in there. And I ask you to write a for loop in your test and you can't do it. What does that mean? Do the math, okay? It's like you want to hire a chef and you say, okay, show me what you can cook. You say, these are the ones. And you look at it, oh my God, that filet mignon looks amazing. And when you actually cooks for you, you get bricks and sand, okay? And you know that he didn't do it, right? So let's see what happens. So all the tests and everything is done on computers over here. So I'll lock your computers up. Your computers will be completely locked up. I'll show you, I'll put a demo test up so you can try it and learn how to work with it. So this is how you do our tests. Your computer gets locked up. You have access only to Blackboard to your test and one application that is Notepad++. Notepad++, if you save the file as .cpp, it gives you IntelliSense. Mr. Microphone, it was you, right? What is IntelliSense? If you don't know, you say pass, by the way. You give it to the next person.
Pass.
IntelliSense?
I don't know.
Anybody programmed with Visual Studio in here? When you start typing, what does it do? It suggests. That's IntelliSense. It suggests what's what. So it intelligently it senses what you are typing and helps you. If you save your file in Notepad++, it does that. So it's kind of a reference sheet, but it doesn't compile. So when you type it, it tells you what the spelling of the command is and how you are supposed to do it. So it gives you all the information about the things that you're using, but it won't give you the logic. Okay? So you use that one to do the answer and then copy and paste it into the test that you have and you submit it. So 2 applications you're allowed to have. Okay? So that's how you do it, and nothing else will open. That's it. And when you are doing your test, you have your cell phone, you log in, and as soon as you log in, all the cell phones are pushed forward. Smartwatches out, everything. Your brain, your hand, one blank piece of paper, and your computer is in the test. Everything else, and I don't have to explain it every single time, please. When we have a lab, you have a quiz. So make sure as soon as you come in, you log in, you open up the applications ready, your computer is ready, and everything is packed to be handed forward, okay? So I don't have to, oh, let me take the cell phone out, and I just put it in my backpack, things like that. Be quick so we can be done with it and be done with it. Workshops can only be submitted from the lab, from the computers over here. You have time to develop it 2 weeks before. You can work on it and put it on your matrix, and when it's ready, you can come to the lab and you can submit it. Nowhere else it can be submitted from anywhere. It checks to see if you are in the lab, and then it submits it from there. Okay? All right, so that's that one. Project, you can submit it from anywhere. Project's going to be out a week or two before the study break. Your workshops, you only have one workshop and the big, so you have one workshop to do. And it's pretty guided. So when you look at the workshop, like you look at the workshop by the description of the workshop and following the instructions, reading it, you can actually do it by yourself. Okay? That brings us to AI. Okay? That brings us to AI. And I have another preaching to do. I was listening to this amazing guy that I listen to all his lectures. His name is Neil deGrasse Tyson. He's an astrophysicist. So they were talking about how human brain works. Okay, our brain works linear. It's literally, I'm quoting that conversation that he was actually explaining. Our brain works in a linear way, which means the wolf is attacking, and I need to run. Wolf has specific speed. I have specific speed. My goal is to get to the tree. And these are the calculations I do. Am I close enough to the tree? Is wolf is going to catch up with me by the time? And we do, and the outcome can be predicted. Either I'll be eaten and cannot pass my DNA to the next person, or I'll go up the tree and I'm safe. Okay, so that's how we work. An example for it is this. So say you go to a lake and you see there's algae in the lake. Okay? So algae doubles. So it doubles by time. That's how they reproduce. So you see a little bit of algae over there. You go the next day you come and you see, wow, it's twice its size. Okay? And you go for a month and you come back and you see half a lake is filled with algae. Right? So how long it takes for the whole lake to actually be filled with algae? 1 day. Our brain doesn't work that way. We think it's going to take another month. You knew that I'm getting there. That's why you answered. But in reality, when you go, you don't know that you have only a day, and the next day the full lake is algae. That's exponential growth. Now, back up. Why did I give you that example? We study in linear way. Industry is improving and going forward in an exponential way. You know that, right? All right. So what can we do to be able to match the exponential instead of going linear? If you just sit and do your workshop and stuff like that, that adds to the exponential because you are getting the outcomes of that one. That helps a little bit. The other thing is AI. They say, don't use AI. No, I say use AI. But you have two different ways of using AI. Number one, you become its servant, or AI becomes your servant. Choose. You can copy the whole workshop and give it to ChatGPT, and ChatGPT will give you an answer. And I'm going to give it to another program, and it's going to say ChatGPT produced it, so I know you did it. But anyways, or you can write your own solution and try, and then give it to ChatGPT and tell, how can I make this solution that I provided better? That it's going to look at your code, see what you have done, and give you hints of how to make it better. Then take that one and rewrite it. Like that, ChatGPT is your servant. You are not ChatGPT's servant. Okay? Use AI. In this day and age, you guys should flourish. You have a personal tutor at home at your fingertips. Just ask the question properly as if you're asking your professor or your peer tutor. You cannot go to the tutor and say, could you please write this workshop for me? You don't do that. You write the workshop, and then you give the workshop, and you say, this part of the code doesn't work. Only give me answer for that one, not the whole thing. And specifically tell to ChatGPT, I don't want the entire solution. I want you to teach me what did I do wrong and how I can fix it. Literally write that. And you'll be amazed what's going to happen. And you are going to learn, and you're going to have the exact same exponential growth as the industry has. And you'll be successful. If you copy now, how far you can do that? You think when you get hired and you are actually doing something cutting edge that no one has done before, the ChatGPT can go search all over the world and find the answer? Not yet. Soon, exponential, right? But not yet. So copying goes so far. Okay? That's how you do it. You have to get 50% or better on weighted average of the tests. Weighted average, we had problem. Apparently, many people can't do weighted average. So I actually wrote the formula over here so you know what weighted average is. So because the test 1 is 25%, test 2 is 40%, the weighted average means test 1 multiplied by 25 divided by 65, and final multiplied by 40 divided by 65 should be more than 50%, the weighted average of the two tests. If that is more than 50%, that's one green flag. It means if that is lower, I'm not going to look at anything else. It means it's enough. Okay? Then achieve a grade of 50% in everything. So if you don't hand in any project, you can still get 90%. Any workshop, you can still get 90% and pass the subject because it's not a condition. Okay? Project is a bit different. You have to submit a complete working project. What does it mean? It means project is a little weird. So when it comes up, it has 5 milestones, we call it. Each milestone has its own thing. The first 4 milestones are when you are developing the engine of the application, okay, in this first 4 milestones. Each one is worth 10%, and it has its own tester that you pass. These have very loose due date, which means if I tell you the due date is this, even if you are 1 week late, you get the full mark for it. And it's a binary. You either get 10% or 0. There is no late or reduced mark or anything like that, which means if you are 1 week late, you still get your 10%. But after that, you still have to submit it, but you get 0. So you must submit it, but you get 0. So that's 40% of the mark. Then milestone 5 is the actual application written using these 4 milestones. And to not make your life miserable going through one submission, I divided into 6 simple submissions. So you test your features of your application one by one. If one of them is successfully passed with 4 milestones submitted, it means you have a complete project. Of course, you get 50% only because each submission is 10, that's 6, and 4, it's 50. But as you complete your features of your project, the percentage goes up to 100%. So if you miss one of the first 4 milestones, you get an incomplete as a mark, and your average is a pass. Okay? Be careful. You must submit all 4 milestones. And if after this, and when you get an incomplete, you get time to submit your work after up to like 10 days in next semester. Okay? By that time, you have to submit it. And if you don't submit it, even if you have 95% in the subject, it's an F. Okay? So a working project is needed. Okay? You can get 0 in it, but it must be working. Okay? So that's that. Yeah. Another thing that I want to put stress on again, when you do a test, did I tell you about 1 week after the test thingy? Okay. So you have 1 week after the test to check your tests and stuff to see if they are okay or not. Okay? A student failed 2 days ago I went to the chair and stuff, and we couldn't do anything about it. Hello, welcome. So because, again, he needed 0.2% to pass the subject, and he could have gotten it if he actually checked his midterm, because one of the walkthroughs, he could have gotten 1 extra mark in it, but he didn't care. Okay? So, again, follow the guidelines. The reason that I stick to guidelines, I'm not an evil person, believe me. But if I don't enforce it, you will be spoiled. And then in workplace, you're going to pay it back in a very, very bad way. Over here, it's just a semester. In work, you lose your job, you lose your apartment, you lose your car, you lose your life. Here, you just learn that you have to follow the instructions. As SpaceX says, just read the instructions. You don't know that? You don't know? It's one of the landing, forget it. No geeks over here. No one. Okay. All right. Anyway, so that's that. So please read the instructions and follow. Anyways, so these are the things that we're going to do. These might change, okay? So this is what we plan now. I may change things up and down a little. Topics may go up and down in here, but this is what we do. This 1-9 thingy that we have and things like that, you need to, I'm sorry, turn off your cell phones for heaven's sake. Whose cell phone is that? It was mine, sorry. Anyways, turn on your cell phone. Yeah. So yeah, that's week 1. I don't know what this 1/9 is, probably January 9th. Is it January 9th today? It's 7th. I don't know. Hopefully they're going to fix that. But that's week 1, and I cannot modify it. This I can modify. This I can modify. This I can't touch. I don't know 1/9 is. That's week 1. Count 1, 2, 3. Okay. So that's what we are supposed to do now. Okay. And then it goes next one, and it goes next one, and it keeps going like that. Hello. Okay. So and the topics that you see over here match the topics that you have in the notes. So you see, welcome to OOP, yada, yada, yada. That's welcome to object-oriented. So the things that you see over here are what we have over here. So you see object terminology, modular programming, object terminology, so you can follow those. So find the topics over here and study it. We used to have, where did I go? Did I miss something? Yeah. So we used to have like reading material. We used to copy these in reading. But this next week you have to read it. Okay, so these readings are, you know what to read for next semester, for next week. Missed tests, late assignments. It explains over here exactly what it is, the due dates and everything. You know that you can use the submitter to see what is the due date of it. Anybody use the submitter last semester at all? You didn't use submitter. You know what it is? You don't know what it is. You didn't use it. Okay. So submitter is a program on Matrix that you submit your codes with it. What it does after you completed everything, it knows what files to get. It grabs your files from your Matrix account. It compiles it, runs it, compares the output, makes sure everything's a match. If everything's a match, it collects everything, what is needed to be submitted, and submits it to the professor. Okay? We use that. The instructions of how to use it is always in the workshop and the project that you are getting. And it has few options, important ones. Dash feedback. If you use dash feedback at the end of your submit, it doesn't care what is the due date is or if it's open or not. It will run it as if it wants to submit it. It dry runs it and tells you if it's submittable or not. It's not going to submit it, but it just gives you feedback. So if you see the workshop is not open yet to submit and you wrote it and you want to test it, just do dash feedback. Or the due date is passed, but you want to do the workshop to learn, you do dash feedback. So dash feedback always runs the dry runs the submission, and you can test it. The other one is dash do. Dash due tells you what the due date is for you individually. Some people have accommodations, or you call me and say, I'm sick, I can't do this, or I'm out of the country, can I do this thing, submit this 3 days later? And I'll give you an extension. So the dash due shows what is your due date, not someone else's. Remember that, okay? The way the extensions are requested, I'll tell you what it is. Again, just letting you know, the extension request is done like this. You do a dash due, you see when the due date is, then you see when you want to submit it. Like, okay, the due date is on the 3rd, and I want to submit it on 2 days later, which is 5th. When you do that, you ask for 4, because I know when you say 2, you think it's 2, but it actually, Murphy's Law makes it 4. So then you ask for 4 days extension. You're not going to say, can I submit this on the 9th? You cannot say, can I submit this 3 days later, okay? You cannot say, I want to submit it on Wednesday. You can't do that. You have to tell me, okay, this is the name of the submission, so you tell me exactly what is the name of the submittable, and you say, I want 9 days extension, which means that will be added to your due date. So you have to calculate that and ask that. You cannot say, can I submit it tomorrow? That doesn't work. You have to tell me exactly how many days of the extension is required, okay? And because that's how the submitter works. That's how, in the config files, if I want to actually give somebody's extension, I have to say, give this student this many days. And I don't have time to sit over there, see what is your due date, do the math, do the calculation. Do that yourself. You want the extension, find out how many days you need, okay? So feedback to students regarding graded assessments can be provided in the following ways, okay? You may see feedback. So what happens is that when I'm marking you, I've actually written a program called Rubric. So what this program does, it brings up the questions. So I tell to the rubric which one's the question. It brings it up. It tells me what to check. I'll check it. I'll look at it. If it's correct, I give the mark. If it's not, I give partial mark. When I give partial mark, it asks for feedback. I write feedback, and I keep going like that. So it generates the whole marking. Then I copy the whole marking, and I paste it for that question. So in that question, you'll see exactly in detail what is being marked. And that's how you get feedback on the marks that you have. In addition to that, it gives you one version of the correct answer at the bottom. Of course, there are 5,000 different ways to give the right answer. But it gives you a kind of an idea of what the answer is supposed to be. And you mark it. So the first time I'll mark it, I'll demonstrate over here so you can see exactly how it's marked. Another piece of advice. Students come and ask me, how do I study to learn? What do I do? Okay. First, I have to tell you how I teach. And then I'll give you advice. If you listen to this, you're going to all pass with A+. That's my guarantee. I teach by doing. So I have Visual Studio open over there. I teach by writing the program, executing and showing it to you. I'm going to make mistakes. Together, we're going to find my mistake, fix it, and run it. So all the things that you do on your computer, I'll do in here. I do live programming for you, and that's how I teach. Every single thing that I teach, as soon as it's done, goes up to GitHub. So I have a directory in the organization, literally says, Fardad's, I'm going to create it today, you'll see it. Fardad, Fardad, NAA, in-class notes. And you go in there, you see there, it says 01 January something. These are the notes Fardad wrote in class. Everything that I have. And as you see, I record my sessions. It's not because I've been doing this for 20 years. Go on YouTube, type Fardad OOP244. You're going to have gazillions of things coming up that I've done in past 10 years, 20 years. So I always record my sessions. Having said that, technologies fail. The batteries go off. Does it blink? Because it was on since yesterday. Is it blinking? It means the battery is going off because I forgot to turn it off. So that's going to die soon. So if you see this thing blinking, please let me know so I can change the battery. Well, anyways, things go wrong. I forget to start record, things like that. So don't rely on recording. It's just an additional thing for you to review. Please don't think that it's, oh, I'm not going to, I drank too much beer last night. I'm going to sleep. And tomorrow I'm going to listen to the recording. And guess what? That's exactly when something's going to go wrong and you don't have the recording. So Murphy's Law is always at work, okay? So remember that. So anyway, so I do that. Now, how do you study? How do you study and you learn? When I write these codes in a class, first off, it's curve of forgetting. That's another research. Curve of forgetting says the day of the study, when you're coming to class, when you get a lecture for an hour, you need to do a review for that lecture for half an hour, the exact same day. For 1 hour, so if we have 1 hour and 20 minutes, you have to, 1 hour and a half, you have to put 90 minutes and review what you have learned for that day. Next week, you do 10 minutes review of that week. Next month, you do 5 minutes review of that, and it's committed to your full-term memory, for long-term memory, okay? First, for an hour, I think it was an hour, 20 minutes. You go curve of forgetting, Google it, and you can find the research. And it's a valid research done by scientists. And so one thing that I want to beg you to please be a little savvy about social media. When you hear something, don't believe it immediately. Go and say papers on and see if there's any paper on the thing that the guy posted. If it's a paper on it, then you can read it and see if it's actually a peer-reviewed, valid scientific research, or somebody just said something to get hits, okay? What I'm telling you, these are all research done. So what you do with mine, so that's what studying for any subject. But for mine, you take my code, you take a look at it. This is how you do your review. You take a look at my code that I have written and try to understand what I've done. Then you set the code aside without looking at it. Try to replicate the same thing out of memory and logic. Just try to write it without looking at mine. Execute it, debug it, see if it works or not. If you face problems, set your code aside. Don't compare the two. Set your code aside, bring mine up, take a look at it again. Try to see what did I do, and try to remember how you did it, and in your brain compare the two. Try to find out what's wrong with it. Set mine aside, bring yours back up, again try to debug. You do that until you have done what I have done in class. I guarantee you do this, you're going to get A+ in the subject. Guaranteed. So don't come and tell me. And another thing I'm going to mention later. I'm going to mention it now. You have problem, you come to me now. 3 weeks before the final test, I cannot help you. There is no remedy for that. If you see there is problem, you come to me now. Farda, 2 weeks passed, I don't understand anything about what you're telling me. I can help you then. You can get together and contact me. I'll put private sessions for you and your friends for people who didn't get a certain topic, and we go through it and I'll repeat it for you online on Microsoft Teams. I'll do that for you. But when it's past study break, it's too late. I can't do that. There is no injection that I can give you and you get the information. Please act now. I beg you, okay? Workshops, if you want feedback, you book an appointment, okay? Workshops are there. I want to see you submit at the workshops, okay? I want to say that you are all mature people and you don't copy it from anyone. But if you copied from someone, then, well, what can I do? We'll go copy. But if you didn't and you have problem, you can simply book an appointment with me and say, Fardad, there's a problem with this workshop. Or you do the workshop and you submit it and you want to know if you can do it better. If you do that, I'm going to, you know. So if you can book an appointment and say, I want feedback on my code. And those feedbacks are amazing. Like the thing that we have, you show me your code. I'll go through your code from the beginning. I'll give you hints on every single thing. But you are adults. I'm not going to force you. If you want, you book an appointment. I'll demonstrate how. One person who's not shy to have their account up, like Microsoft Teams account up on the screen, please come over here and I'll show you how to book an appointment with me, okay? I'm not going to show your email. We're going to do it on a separate screen. And when it's done, I'm just going to bring it on the screen and I'm going to show how so whoever's, get ready, I'm going to ask soon, okay? Anyways, so that's that. For the project, the first 4 milestones, please get feedback on them because they're very important. They are the engines of the application that you are writing. Yeah, and but they are just marked for submission. What gets scrutinized is milestone 5. When you're submitting milestone 5, essentially you're submitting everything. So I'm going to go through it and see what you have done and I'll mark you. So anyways, you got to get feedback like that. And I'm sure that our friends will help you give you feedback on their code. And if you see anything banana going on, just contact me and we'll all right. And the rest, over here, public library, Seneca policies, go through them, read them, okay? In ballpark, it says don't cheat. If, by the way, cheating is allowed in a project. If you are in a tight spot and there's a specific place that you don't know what to do with, you can simply ask a friend to give you that module part, that piece of code snippet, and you insert it in your own. And what you do, just cite it. You say, this part from here to here, I got it from Joe. That's 5% of the milestone 1. So instead of 10, you get 9.5. And the friend who gave you that, I'm going to thank that person for helping you. Okay? It's like customs. You say, I have 2 bottles of vodka, you pass, and it's beautiful. There's nothing wrong with it. But then you say, you don't say anything. And at the other side, they say, oh, you have liquor in your thing. And then you're smuggling. Okay? Cite it. Citation is the most important. Giving credit to people that have done the work is the heart of our industry. This is how people are earning their lives. Learn how to cite. It is extremely important. So you cannot say, I got the entire project from Jack, and I'm citing. Then, of course, you didn't cheat, but you get 0, okay, because that's the whole thing, right? Anyways. All right. All right, so that's that. Questions? Suggestions? Objections? Yes. Wait. Is it still blinking or is it on? Is it off? Blinking? Give it. Thank you. I'm going to bring another microphone so we have more. So you're gonna be the next person asking the question. Go ahead.
So how do we access the notes? Because I don't see anything on the.
Oh, well, I'll demonstrate
Okay.
after this. So as soon as I get the question, I have one more question to ask. And after that, I'm going to go on a computer building everything in front of you because you're going to do it. I'll explain. Okay?
So I'm talking about the study notes though, not the
Study
end
notes,
content.
yeah. Study notes,
Oh, okay.
I can just, for now, I can send you a announcement right now with the link.
Oh, okay. Sounds
Oh, no, study notes, you have it in Blackboard.
good. Yeah. That's
Study
what I
notes
was
you have
wondering.
access to. Oh. Oh, I just created, hidden. So I'm going to make it visible. Let me see what is not visible. 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 Now it should be visible. So study notes are there. And the organization is in code, course information. So study notes over here in course information, you have the GitHub organization for OOP244. When you click, this is where everything's going to be. This is part as notes archive. So this is the archive of all the notes that I have written since 2019, semester 1. Okay? And these are all the things over there. So if you click on any of them, you'll see how it's done. This is it. And this is, I always click on the, one time only I had a prof teaching with me, and that came up. But that's not the one, so let's go somewhere else. Is it again the same thing? There we go. So in here, I'm going to come to NAA, and September 21st, these are the things that was written in class. See that? And if you click on it, the code that was written in class is right there. So everything's there. Anything that I do over there is there. And that's your workshop 0, by the way. That is due on Monday. Okay? You have the announcement. Workshop 0, you have to do it. I'll explain it. So today we are teaching stuff that is not in the curriculum at all. Okay? It's something that I'm going to hopefully have the chances of you get hired, getting a job by 30 to 40% just by today. Okay? Now, questions? All right. Now I'm going to ask you one question, and you're going to go for a break. You come back, you answer the question. And I'm serious about this. Okay? It's not a joke. I don't want to. I'm not one of those politicians who wants to make a promise and then break it. I want to really. This is a genuine question. What a professor should do to make that person your favorite professor, apart from giving you a mark when you don't deserve it. Okay? Think of what you want your professor to do. We go for a break, 5 minutes. I'm going to have some coffee and water. And 5 minutes back, that's the first thing you're going to answer. Are we good? 5 minutes. 5 minutes, really. Okay, so if you want to have water, run. Okay? By the way, another thing you need to do, always remind me to resume recording. I'm pausing. So before you start doing that, if you get into Microsoft Teams, you'll find out that you're a member of a team now called OOP244 Discussions and Help. You want to be a member of it too? You want to join? Are you going to list of the students of the class? No, I know. Because if you want to take where all the discussions are going to be in the class, so probably it's a good idea to join the group. So you got to give me your email so I can add you. Okay, so this is for OOP345, so not that one, but if you go to the Teams, one says OOP244-2251. That's the one, okay? So, and you see that's like, you should be a member of this one. Let me see how many people I have over here. So 40 people are here. I think 4 did not add for some reason. And if it didn't add, don't worry about it, because you can, when you come to not the course information, but when you come to faculty information, office and help, this is where you see methods of communication. If you click over here, if you are not a member, you can join in with that code. You should already be a member, okay? If you're not, you can use that code to join. I'm going to let you answer that question, but I want you to know this first. So my email is not for subject-related communication. So don't send me an email saying my workshop doesn't work, or I want extension this and that. I look at the email at the end of the semester. Email has so many spam stuff coming in that It doesn't filter properly. I don't like it. That's why everything happens through Microsoft Teams. If you need to say something private to me, like I'm sick and I cannot come to the test, you send me a private message on the Teams, okay? And remember, always to clear things up, mention your subject, okay? Because I only teach 1, 2, 4, 4, you don't need to mention your section. But tell me I'm in 244 and yada, yada, yada. I'm in 24. I know it seems redundant, but helps me. I can quickly filter you out. If you have any question or anything that you want to help with other students, you can literally, and me, you can literally put a message inside the thing. This part of my code doesn't work in my workshop. Literally copy that code snippet that doesn't work and paste it over here and ask questions from others. They can help you, okay? Don't put your entire workshop over there. Just the part that you have problem. We can help each other. I have no problem with that. And I can help you too, okay? So you can communicate. If you have specific channels that you need to talk about that is important, that you need to actually talk specifically about that, like Mac users, for example. If you want to separate channel on that so Mac users can help each other do stuff, sure, do it, no problem. I can create an extra channel for that so you can actually use it. Now, what you want your profs to do, I want you to actually later on after doing all these, I want you to post a message over here, okay? So so I can go on general, and in here I can create an announcement, and you can reply to this announcement, okay? Okay? You're going to tell me now, but it would be nice if you can reply to that one so I can remember. Okay? Is it the right channel? Yes. Okay. So, tell me. Oh, did I resume? I'll check it out. Give me that microphone, by the way. So, is it still blinking? Okay, blinking is good. If it's off, then I'll be in trouble. Okay, so yes, I am recording. Usually, when it doesn't show something over here, it's recording, but it's not a guarantee. Okay. Who wants to go first? Seriously? Go ahead.
Okay, so what would I like my professor to do? One of the things is the professor should know how to teach, because not every professor knows how to teach. I mean,
I'll do my best. That's something that I can. It's something either you have or don't. If you that's so give me feedback. If you see I'm talking too fast, let me know. If I'm going too quickly through topics, give me feedback. Any feedback you give me throughout the semester, I would really appreciate. Probably that can help.
yeah. I mean, because I grew up in the family of teachers. My mom is, my grandma is.
So am I.
Yeah.
So am I.
So,
Okay.
and I know there are some professors who doesn't really know how to teach. They just read their topics, doesn't give any examples. But yeah, looking at you, right?
Well,
I
sure,
mean,
no.
like,
No, wait, we'll see. Don't judge, because at the end of the semester, Brazil is the worst person I've ever seen. But sure, I'll try to manage. Okay.
all right.
Anything else?
Yeah, and also approachable.
Approachable.
Some professors actually are not very much approachable. Like if you.
Okay, that brings us to the thing. I don't have office hours. And I said if somebody can help me with their account so I can demonstrate how to book an appointment, my schedule is updated. If you see I'm free, you can book an appointment with me anytime. Okay? Because if I put 2 hours, like from this time to that time, that's the time you have a class, so you can never talk to me. Okay? So we work like a company. So you have Seneca account, I have Seneca account, you have schedule, I have a schedule, we can find the time. Please don't book 3-hour appointments, okay? 15 minutes standard if you just want to talk about a topic, or 30 minutes you think if it's more than that. If you need more than that, let's have the meeting and see what we can do. Because I have lots of other stuff to do too, or subject development. Just I need to work, right? So, but I'll try. Okay, I'll explain. Anyone else? Yes, go ahead, please.
I think it'd be nice if you were able to suggest or provide resources to practice coding.
I'll explain that in 2 seconds.
Okay.
Okay, right now I'm going to explain it. So,
Like last semester in IPC, we really only had like workshops, and it was a bit difficult to learn solely from the workshops.
okay, all right. So, giving you, so this is how the workshops are designed now. Your workshop 1 to 5, where you are free to, first half of the semester, you're just prancing around. It's not that much of studying to do. So that's why we give you practice. So you have workshop 1, and there's a DIY attached to it. Literally, that you don't get marked. You can actually do it and test it with the submitter, see if it works or not. But you don't submit it anywhere. So that's one that is coming. So each workshop has a DIY attached to it. So you don't need to submit that. That's for that reason. And it goes back to that linear and thingy. Go to ChatGPT, say, I am studying OOP244 in Seneca Polytechnic. Under the topic copy constructors, can you give me some practice problems to do? 50 things are going to come up. Seriously, I mean, like, in the era you're living, you can do anything you want. It's amazing. Okay, so that's my suggestion. We have those, but anything that I have that I design, it's going to be repeated over and over. But from that one, you get the latest thing, and because you are mentioning what you are studying and where it actually goes, looks at all the notes, and depending on all the notes, it gives you a proper thing. And then you can bring that to me if you have a problem with it. And book an appointment. You couldn't do it, let me know. Okay? And make sure you always tell to your AI, don't give me the solution. Only the problem for me to solve. Okay? Because I know you'll be tempted to look and see. Afterwards, maybe you want to, when you tried and you failed. But, well, and it's a good thing. You learn from your failures. Okay. Next. Yes, sir.
So I would say not necessarily go the extra mile, because I know you have things to do throughout the day.
Mm-hmm.
But like sometimes I've had professors where they kind of just tell you what to do and expect you to know without any kind of like guidance. They just kind of like throw the topic at you and expect you to already know the topic.
I'm hoping that I'm not going to be like that, but again, feedback. Check to see if I'm like that, then give me feedback. I do not, any negative feedback from you brings you up. Remember that. Any negative feedback, it's a bonus for you. I don't mind it. I like to teach better. This is what I love to do. I'm not here. This is my 26th year that I'm teaching. Okay, so believe me, I'm not here because I couldn't find a job. Okay? This is what I love to do, and I've been doing it for a long time. So anytime I want to get better. Go ahead. Next. Okay, think about it. That's open. Okay? And I want to see replies over there. Okay? And don't be shy. Next thing, whose account I can use to log into Microsoft Teams? You're good with it? Come. So I'm going to open an incognito for you over here. And bring this one over here. MS Teams Web. Is it coming up? Yes, go ahead. Please sign in. Let me just, yeah, go ahead. Okay. While that is being done, so another bad news that I have for you. I'm not going to be available 2-3 weeks at the end of the semester. So if you have any, because those 2-3 weeks at the end of the semester, 3 weeks when it goes to 2 weeks, that's the time that I'm the busiest. So you will see that my schedule, because I'm in other committees too, and that's the time that we are like booked all the time. Again, if you start now, you don't need me at the end of the semester. I guarantee that. Okay, 2-3 weeks at the end of the semester, it's going to be very difficult to get in touch with me. Letting you know, okay? And that's going to be all. So when I create that policy quiz, you'll see what's going on. So when the policy quiz is going to come up, I'm going to wait for a week for everybody to come. Then I'm going to give you the policy quiz, and everything's going to be available if you do that policy quiz. So I'll make it the condition of everything. We good? All right. Okay, so you log into Teams. First of all, when you are contacting me with Teams, don't use the web. Install the app. The reason is that sometimes, if you do workshop 0, it's not going to be needed. But sometimes I need to take over your computer to do something. With web, I can't. But when you have the app installed, you can actually give me access to your computer to fix things for you. So always contact with app, not the web. Okay? Install Microsoft Teams app. Anyways, you want to book an appointment with me? You go to calendar. First of all, update your calendar with your schedule. Things that you do. Get used to it. That's what will be your life in future. Have your calendar really reflect what you do. Nobody have access to it other than you. I'm just going to see where you are busy. That's all. Okay? So get used to that. Now, you want to book an appointment with me. You go on a new meeting. And 3 years later, didn't I say it? One more time. New meeting. By the way, this is called Murphy's Law, if you don't know what it is. When things shouldn't go wrong, they will. Why is it doing this? Calendar. Calendar, new meeting. Oh, there we go. Oh. Okay, new meeting, all right? So you go to new meeting, and over here you have title. The title is problem with workshop 1, okay? And in here, you are going to put the path to your GitHub repository. I'll explain what is that after this, okay? Where the problem is, okay? And then you go to scheduling assistant, okay? Now in here, you're going to add the required attendees, that is Fardad. As soon as you type Fardad, my ugly face is going to come up. That's the first thing. You see Fardad Soleimani, professor? You click on that one. And that shows you the times that I'm available on day. So as you see, I am busy right now, almost at the end of your session. All right? So I'm going to come over here and say this is a good time, right? And I'm going to say send. That's booking it. So it's actually booked over here. Now, try to do it a day or two in advance. Don't do it an hour from now, because I'm not at my computer. I don't know, cooking dinner over there, and you book an appointment in 15 minutes. Obviously, I'm not going to get to it. Give me some time to get to the computer to see what it is. And then you do this. After you do this, I'm going to close yours because it's not needed anymore. I'm going to go to mine. And as you see over here, problem with workshop 1 comes over here. And I open it. And I can see the information, meeting information, everything over here. The things that you write over there are going to be in here. we both get online. Please, before that, test your headphone. We have 15 minutes. We cannot troubleshoot your microphone at that time. Make sure that everything works on your computer before doing this. There are test calls that you can make on Microsoft Teams. And again, when I come over here, I respond to it. And I'm going to say, I will definitely decline. Because we don't want to do it now. But I will accept it. You will see if it's accepted, it means I'm 100%, I'm going to be there. If it's tentative, it means I'm coming home. I don't know I'm going to be there or not. So you're going to see my response to it, and then you have exactly where you want to have. Wednesday is my non-teaching day. So that's the time that's usually free, okay? But again, if it's development, you will see that I'm going to fill it in, okay? So you see exactly when I'm free. And this time, don't do anything because I'm at school. I'm going from one class to another, and I have one period that probably I'm going to eat at that time or something, okay? I don't know, probably I'm going to fill something over there. So anyways, check my schedule and use my schedule to use the schedule to do to do your appointment booking. So no office hours, okay? But I would never help you in person. I hate that. It's very inefficient. You do your workshop 0, and you know what I'm talking about. The class ends at 11:35, right? 30, I think. Or 35? Yes! So we have lots of time. So that brings us to long time ago in a galaxy far, far away, there was this guy who was really pissed off with all the crappy operating systems over there with all the big corporations owning them. So in his basement, he built a new one. His name was Linus Torvald, and he created Linux. Okay? And after he created Linux, it made its open source. He said, hey, I created this beautiful thing, and let's see if everybody can actually join, and let's collaborate and make this thing even better. And it caught up so amazingly that he could not catch up with all the contributions. All the code that was coming in that was supposed to be added to this operating system could not be managed. So what a genius do? He said, what a genius does? He said, I'm going to create a specific application whose job is to be able to merge different people's code and keep track of all the changes done so we know exactly at which stage was the code. Have you ever done something and your project worked perfectly, then you went to the washroom, you come back, continue, and after 2 hours you say, shoot, I screwed up everything. I wish I could go back to the time that I went to washroom. That is possible. He created what we call Git. Git's job, Git's application is a version control system, they call it, but its job is to keep track of source code of anything and keeps the updates and merge collaborations. 5 people can work on the same source code, and they can bring all the code and merge in one place. Things like that can happen, okay? So he created Git. Git caught up. And with Git, he could easily go through the managing all the contributions that were done to Linux. And now, how many flavors of Linux do you have? One of them is actually on your MacBooks, if you have a Mac. Okay, Mac is Unix system, right? Underneath. That's literally Linux. Okay, so what I'm saying, like Red Hat, Ubuntu, you name it. There are so many different flavors of Linux out there that, you know, Fedora, that is actually Red Hat. But anyways, so how did the Git got created? Git is what we call as a distributed application. What does it mean? It means the application is not made to be put on a server and then you connect to the application and you work with it. That makes the application owned by a company, right? And he didn't want that. He wanted the application to be owned by everyone. So he made it distributed. What does it mean? It means any computer that installs Git has everything. And all these Git applications can talk with each other. You can send one message from one Git application to another. Then a company came and said, okay, everybody wants to keep track of their code and make sure they don't lose it. I'm going to create a reliable server farm on which people can keep their codes for free as long as it's open source, okay? And I'm going to charge them if it's private, if they want to make it private. Then Microsoft saw what an amazing thing, this is GitHub, okay? And Microsoft saw what an amazing thing it is, bought the whole place. So for the whole thing, now it's owned by Microsoft. Now GitHub actually offers free private repositories too, as a student especially. So check for GitHub student deals. As a student, you can get several different applications and stuff for free as long as you're a student. Development environments and lots of good stuff. Anyways, okay, so what does Git do? With Git, the code is actually kept like the application itself. So GitHub has an instance of Git running on it. You install Git on your computer. So you both have Git, right? You create a folder on your computer and tell to Git, take over this folder and check and keep track of changes that I make to this folder. That folder in Git is called a repository, a code repository. You can put files in it. Git will not track it. But you have to tell to Git, I added new files. And you keep doing that. So now the washroom scenario is happening. You are writing code in that folder, right, like usual thing. And Git is taking a look at your code, right? You want to go to washroom, you tell to Git, commit. And in the description of the commit, you write, going to washroom. And you commit, you go. You come back, you do your work. You do your work, and yada, 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 and you screw things up. Now you can say, I want to compare my code to the time that I went to the washroom because you committed it. It brings the two codes up, shows what the differences are. Either you fix it or you say simply revert to that. It's going to revert everything back to that point. So committing is your friend. You should keep committing over and over and over. Commit, going to washroom. Commit, did milestone 1. Commit, going out for a beer. Whatever, okay? You keep committing. And all these commits keeps you there. Now, you create an account on GitHub. There are two keys, two commands on Git that has the same meaning as upload and download. You can say, upload my code to GitHub. That's called push. When you say push to Git, it means upload the code upstream to the main repository. Then you come to school, you download that on the school computer. Downloading Git is called pull. You pull all the code and you put it right over here. And after you pull, you have all the stuff that you have done at home, right? Now you do your work over here and you say push. It's get pushed back to GitHub, right? You delete this repository that you have on this computer so no one else have access to it. You go home, you say pull. It only brings back the changes that was made and all the commits you have done at school and merges it automatically to your code over here. So no more I lost my memory, no more my hard drive died. Things like that happens. Oh my God, what am I supposed to do? Your code is always on GitHub if you're smart enough and make that repository the place you do everything in. Everything, every test, every garbage thing that you are doing for your OOP244, you do it there. That's your workshop 0. You do, when you want to submit your code in Matrix, what do you do if you have done it? You SFTP to Matrix, right? No more that. You go to Matrix, you pull the repository from GitHub to Matrix. You simply say pull, poof, everything's on Matrix. Why do you need to do FTP anymore? And if something's wrong over there, you fix it on matrix and you push. So everything's in sync everywhere. You go to, I don't know, Dominican Republic. There's a computer over there. You pull. You do your stuff. You push. Or you take. So whatever you do, you are always in sync with upstream. Sometimes conflicts happen. You do something in here. You push. You go home. You forget to pull. You start doing changes. Then you pull, and it says, hey, wait a minute. You have change over here. You have change over here. I don't know how to put these two together. That's resolving conflict. You bring it up. It brings the two codes up. It's like, I want this one, this one, this one, this one. You just pick the two and you say merge. It merges. You can do that. Or be smart. At any moment when you want to do work, first pull. Then you're not going to ever have a conflict, ever. Okay? I keep all my code for the subject in a repository. So I have 2 minutes to do this. Well, I don't think I have time. Well, we'll continue for the next year. Anyway, so I'm in here, OOP244 organization. And in here, I'm going to create, am I logged in? Yes, I'm logged in. New repository. Now it's going to be slope. Murphy's Law. Murphy's Law. There we go. Create a new repository. I'm going to call the repository Fardad NAA in notes. Is that okay? Fardad NAA notes. So section NAA notes. I'm going to say this is a public repository because I want you to have it. The one you create in Workshop 0 is private. And you add me as a collaborator. So when you have a problem, you simply call me, say, Fardad, I have some problem with my Workshop 2. This is my repository. I pull your repository. I have everything on my computer. In front of you, I'll fix the code and I'll push. You pull it, you see the difference. You see exactly what I do, what I did. You reflect on it, and we are square. You're done. Okay? That's how I help you. I will not help anyone without a GitHub repository. I don't do that. Another thing that I'm doing, and a gift that I'm giving you, every commit that you are doing, you are making yourself more visible in the computer industry. When you are applying for a job, you think they'll read your resume, they'll Google your name. And if GitHub comes up with your account in it, that's 30% more chance of you getting hired. And that's how I told you I'm going to help you. You do this Workshop 0, you familiarize yourself with Git, and believe me, it's going to be world of difference. First of all, you do your stuff professionally. Secondly, you get hired easier. Anyways, yours is going to be private. So I'm going to add a README file to it. I'm going to say it's a C++ license I don't want for now. So I'm going to say create repository. Now the repository is created, and I followed Workshop 0. That's why I have private and public keys set, so I don't have to use user ID and password. I get the SSH path for the repository, and I'll go to the OOP244. I'm going to say over here 2251 for now, so not to get mixed for last semester. I'll come over here. I'll right-click over here. I say git clone. You can do all these with command line. Tortoise Git that I asked you to install helps you with this. So you don't have to get involved with syntax too much. You learn how Git works. Later, you can be a geek in it. For now, just be a user. So I'm going to say git clone, and it automatically pastes that over here. Now I'm going to click on OK, and done. This is the clone of the repository I had over there. Now I'll go to Visual Studio. I know it's 2 minutes past our thing, but next class is me teaching right here, so I can do that. So I'm going to go over here, create new project, empty project. And I'm going to go, everything is done in my repository. So I'll go to OOP244, In here, I'm going to say select, I'm going to create a folder. I'm going to call notes. And in notes, I'm going to select the folder. And in here, I'm going to say 01 January 7th. And that's my code for today that I want to teach in class. So when you go to that public repository on the organization, you're going to see the code that I have written that is going to be something like this. Whoa! Compile and run. Ta-da, program runs. Then what I do over here is this. I'll go to my, these are the 3, 4, 5 people coming in. Okay, so then I'll go over here. Because these are new files, I right click, I say commit. Then I'm going to say add them all. Then I'm going to say hello. And I'm going to commit again. Oh. Anyways, I'll tell you what happens later. I don't know why it did happen. Did I? Oh, wait. Anyways, it's easy. It's got to go through it. Don't worry about it. We'll fix it. It's committed locally anyways. I'll fix it and I'll tell you what happened. Don't worry. I'll tell you what happened. So it's a rush. We can't do it. Get out of here. Next class must come in. Get out. Run. OK. I'll see you next time. We'll continue the next week. Bye. Thank you. Bye.